Alright, guys. I know it's been a while. I know I haven't posted in a little bit. And honestly, I mean, it's the same story as before. I don't really know. I'm having a bit of a creator's block, I suppose. And just different things in my life are keeping something, I don't know what it is, but something is keeping me from doing more of the things I would like to do. But, you know, it is what it is. I mean, if I could control it or change it, I would, but I cannot. So, I know it's been a while, and I know that I prefer more action-y kind of stuff. Well, I guess, in a way. But, today I got all these peppers. So I got peppers growing outside, and I picked up some of these at a farmer's market, and they're starting to go bad because I bought a ton of them. Well, I bought about, I guess, a pound, and I don't really eat them that often, so I'm going to try to pickle them. So, it's not a incredibly difficult process. The whole idea behind it is you take a raw vegetable, I guess you could probably cook it, but then you soak it in a vinegar mixture, and the acidity keeps keeps any kind of bacteria away, so it doesn't rot any further, and they get, preserved. So for the preserving agent, I'm going to use what I have left of my apple cider vinegar, which probably isn't going to be enough. But I have citric acid left over from a previous project of making a rhubarb lemonade wine. So this stuff goes a long way. So I have it sitting around, so I figured I'll put a teaspoon of this in to assure that everything is copacetic. On top of this, I don't think this is going to be enough to fill it after I trim all the bad spots. I got a bag of broccoli and cauliflower for stir fry that I never made because I make stir fry quite often, and to be honest, I kind of lack the motivation. So, I will make stir fry again. I won't do it on camera because stir fry is pretty simple. I mean, a monkey could probably do it. But, I want to use up what I can of this, and I'm going to throw it in with the pickling as well. I picked up some onions at a farmer's market, and I got this little guy, and I thought, I cut it into about eighths. I could pickle it too, and pickled onions are pretty good. So I'm going to throw one of those in, some garlic, some black peppercorns, whole, not ground, because I just think that'd be better. I don't know if it is better, but I would assume that it would be better. And I'm going to do some honey to give it some sweetness. So, I'm going to get to the prep work. And, yeah, I'll catch you guys in a little bit. I was thinking about, doing the thing and then editing it, but, I'm not really a big fan of editing, and, well, I'm sure I'd probably mess it up. So I'm just going to cut them up off camera, as well as the garlic and the cauliflower, and then I'll get back to you with the assembly. Alright guys, it only took 15 minutes, maybe? So, I thought about the whole garlic thing. I'm going to do it, but I wanted to give a little fun fact of the day. If you put garlic in vinegar, it has a chance of turning blue. And from my understanding, the science behind it is garlic has like a copper ion, and with the acetic acid reacts with it, it turns it blue. From my understanding, I could be wrong, so make sure you do your research, but according to several food experts, it's completely safe. Which, I mean, for the most part, everything going in safe, so everything coming out should be safe. But, I mean, you know, there could be chemical reactions with food that could be non-beneficial to your health, just like any other chemical reaction. So, we're just going to do the assembly. So I went and trimmed up as much of the cauliflower as I could. I tried to go for uniform thickness in the peppers, probably about that size. I went for rings because I thought increase the surface area. Garlic, I went for the biggest size that I could possibly do to decrease the surface area, because I don't want the garlic to leach into the vinegar too much, but I want the vinegar to permeate the garlic. So, like, I don't want everything in there to taste like garlic, and I want the garlic to pick up more of the pickling than the pickle material pick up the garlic. But, alright, so this video isn't 100 years long. Let's start putting it together. So first you want to start with the dry ingredients, so you know how much of the other stuff to add. So I think I'm going to go with handfuls. Handfuls work. I washed everything beforehand, and then when I put the peppers and cauliflower back into the jar, put some water in it, and then I shook it up and poured it out to get rid of some of the seeds. Just because, I mean, they're not really beneficial to the process. I'm going with whole peppercorns for the same principle as the garlic. I mean, I'm sure ground peppercorns would work, but I don't want that, you know. It's a spice. It's more of like something I want to pick out later, rather than something I want in my body, you know, after the process. If that makes sense. I want to be able to distinguish the pepper from the rest of it when this is done, and I don't want to be chewing on pepper flakes, and the whole surface area idea. And by the way, most of this stuff that I'm saying is theory-based. I've never done this before. I pickled eggs and garlic a couple of times, but I never done this before, and I was considering doing kimchi, but I did not get any, I didn't get any cabbage before doing this, and those peppers probably had 3 or 4 days at best, so I figured better get on it, you know. Kimchi is a little bit different. There are several ways of doing it as far as I know, and I was going to look it up, but I decided that considering what I have here, and that I don't have an actual jar, like, I had to dump out some already pickled cauliflower into a container so I could Shanghai this jar for this video shoot, because for some reason all the jars are gone. She usually saves everything, but apparently the jars are no longer worthy of taking up counter space, which is fine by me, because, you know, most of the time, who needs them once they're empty? You know, when I cleaned the kitchen, I probably threw away a dozen jars, and then, you know, I started stacking new ones, but, you know, it is what it is. So now the apple cider vinegar, we're going to just pour it all in. We want this to be completely covered. So, actually, yeah, it's fine, because I can shake it afterwards. I was like, what am I going to do with the honey? But we good. We good. So that only got us to about halfway, but seeing that I'm adding the citric acid, it should be just fine. And to be technical, we should probably dilute the vinegar with some water, so it's gonna be okay. I'm going to add a bottle of water. I'm gonna go grab that, short little intermission, and then I'm gonna throw in a teaspoon of the citric acid and the honey, and we'll give it a good shake. So I'm choosing the bottled water over tap water for several reasons. Tap water has chlorine and stuff in it, and I don't want anything reacting with the acid and making this, you know, bitter or whatever. So I guess we should put the rest of the main ingredients in before we top it off, huh? So about a teaspoon. I'm going to eyeball it because, it's a dude thing, I guess. That might have been a wee bit more, but I think we'll be alright. Got plenty of citric acid. And I don't think you can really go wrong with too much. I mean, it would make it a little more sour, but that's not the end of the world. It really kind of depends on what you're going for. And see, this is the kind of project I really like, because you never really know. Like, you don't really have like a set recipe. So I'm going for probably about a quarter cup of honey, and top it off with some water. Not too full because I want to give it a good shake. Get everything homogenization. Especially the citric acid. I don't want that sitting in one spot. That could be... it is an acid, and it's fairly concentrated, but it is food safe. But I imagine that if it was concentrated on like one piece of something for enough time, it will eat through it. Like in my theory, in my head. There was rumor, and they're just rumors, that okay, let me start by saying warheads, toxic waste, most sour candies that you eat, it is coated in citric acid. That's how they get it so, face puckering, ridiculously sour. They coat it in citric acid. And I heard rumors, and that's all it was, is rumors, that some kids ate like a ton of them all at once, and it actually gave them sores on their tongue. And I'm not testing it, that's for sure. But I'm not saying it's untrue. I'm not saying it's true, but I could definitely see it being a possibility. And that would be pretty much our finished product. Now, hopefully, I would say, once again, never done this before, so I would say the gestation period, the wait time for this to be ready would probably be 2 weeks if you're in a hurry, a month if you want it to be real good. I'm gonna let it sit there until I get bored one day and try it. The honey, vinegar, citric acid. The honey, vinegar, citric acid should make it a rather sweet, tart kind of like a treat in such. So, all right, that's going to conclude the episode. No point in dragging this out. Nothing else I can really say or do at this particular point. Hopefully I can come up with something a little more entertaining. But I think I'm going to start this new series. I get the house to myself on once in a while now, so I'll have an opportunity to have a couple hours to do what I want, which is rare, or what I can with what I got. And I'm thinking about starting a small series of cooking with Blockheads. And now, any of you guys that don't watch my gaming series, Cooking with Blockheads is a Minecraft mod pack, and my screen name's Another Block. So I think that's like a really fitting name. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'll come up with new and interesting ideas of things we can do with different items I have around the house, or I can go pick up stuff. I was thinking, I did bacon wrapped pork chops is a good one, but stuffed bacon wrapped pork chops. But I mean, there's not really a lot to that. You cook the pork chops, you stuff them, wrap them in bacon, bake it, you're done. I mean, and I don't do the stuffing. I have my grandmother do that, and I do the assembly and getting everything nice and pretty like. So, yeah, it's not really so much. I mean, I can do it myself. I know how to make stuffing. Anyways, I'm dragging this out. I will hopefully be posting semi more regularly. Hopefully at least once a week. But like I said, with things that I don't know what it is. I really don't. But something is stopping me from pursuing doing different things. Like, I haven't been on a hike in probably, like a real hike, in probably, I don't know, 2 weeks. And granted, it's been kind of rainy And actually, yesterday, they almost, I guess they were considering evacuating the bottom half of town, is what I heard. But when I went and talked to the police and the firefighters and went to see the river myself, I mean, it would have had to rain the way it was raining for 2 to 3 days for it to be a real problem, unless the dam burst. But I'm not like a scientist in that field. I don't know a ton about it, but I lived here enough that I know like what the water level should look like, and I have a little bit of background knowledge. So yeah, the weather's been kind of crappy, and that's the meat of that story. And hopefully, it will get better, and hopefully I can get that hacky sack video out. I've been practicing the backyard, but I don't video here because several reasons. Neighbors, before, when we had the house blocking the other neighbors and stuff, and I was doing the foundry stuff, it wasn't all that bad. But now everybody can see everything I'm doing, and it's a kind of a social stigmatism. I don't really, I don't want people in my business, I guess. But, alright, that's that. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you'll see my beautiful face very soon again. Later.